All right, so we have about 10 persons now, so we are good to go. Others will join us. All right, that's great. So I'm just going to share my screen. But before we start, let's just talk about because we are going to be doing data modeling in Power BI today. Because I I was in the other class and I was in class on Friday, and a lot of persons were struggling to flow with the tutorial, with the teachers tutors class, and this is due to so many reasons. People were struggling to understand what data modeling is, what data relationships are, and all of that, and that really hindered a lot of persons from following or enjoying the class, and it was really painful. So in this class, we're going to be going back to the scratch, like the root as we used to do it. Anything that is difficult to understand, we'll just come back here and deal with it. We'll dissect it, we'll open it, look into it, and see why this is this, and this is this, and why this is that. And we'll be able to understand the main class when we go back to it or when we play the replay. All right. So the two things that were discussed was the data modeling in Power BI and then the DAX. We were supposed to have done DAX, but we're waiting for the teacher to do it first before we now do it. All right. So the good thing is that he has done it. So we are going to be doing so that we don't just put so many things into one day. We are going to split it into two classes. The two classes we had in the previous weekend, we are going to have them today. We'll dissect the relationship very, very well and understand it. Then tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll now go into DAX in detail and explain everything about DAX, everything you need to know to become a very sound data analyst. All right. So just before I jump into my screen, I would just like us to, rub mind. Let's just get our experiences on the class on a relationship, data relationship, table relationship in Power BI. Is any person still having some challenges understanding what was there, or have we watched the video and we've done the replay, we've gotten the replay and we understand everything that was explained there, or do we still need to explain it further? I'll unmute Mr. Olalekan. Mr. Olalekan, please unmute so that we can hear from you. We'll just have 10 minutes to do this before we go into the class. Mr. Olalekan, please unmute. You can raise up your hand if you want to talk. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's not there. Are you sure if you can hear me? Jesus Christ. Okay, David.
We
David.
can hear you. We can
Okay,
hear you.
okay. Here. You can hear me, right? So you heard what I said. I want us, I want to hear from you. What are the challenges you're having with that data relationship in tables so that I can know where to come in from? I can know how much we understand it, and so that I don't go too low. He gets so that I don't go too low. Mr. David, please just unmute. Let me hear from you. David Majai.
Good evening.
Yeah, David, how are you, sir?
Hello.
How are you, David?
Yeah, I'm fine. Good evening.
All right, please, I want to hear from you. Do you have any challenge with the table relationship?
Okay, I don't have any challenges because I am the tutor.
Okay. All right. That's great.
Mr. Chris, good evening, sir. This is David
My
speaking.
boss, hey. Hey, boss, good evening.
Good evening.
Are
Good
you
evening,
serious?
sir.
We did not
Good
know
evening,
see so
sir.
that I see. Hey, thank you so
I'm-
much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome,
All
sir.
right, so I'll just meet you. Then these guys, let me hear from Miss Adebisi. Or meet yourself, ma, please. Today I've caught you again. Miss Adebisi, please
Good
unmute.
evening, sir.
Yeah. How are you? How are you?
Very well, very well.
I hope you enjoyed your Sunday rice.
Happy New Month.
Yeah, best wishes.
Yes, I'm trying.
So I heard your voice that day in class. What's up with the relationship? How far do you understand it? Are you having any challenge with it?
Well, have not actually listened to the replay. I was hoping I could do that tomorrow at the office. So until then, that's when I will know if it's complicated. I don't know. I've
So
not tried it out.
that means you don't even know
But on
what
the
you don't
issue
even
of
okay. On the what?
I was going to talk about sorting of data. I think I need to still work on that. That's like
Okay.
cleaning the table. Yes, cleaning of the
No.
table. So
That's
because I
wait,
think
wait. That's not what we are talking about. We're just focusing on the Friday class, that data relationship, data modeling, relationship between tables and all that. I think that's the major topic today. I think you really need to watch the
okay, I
video.
understand the okay, I understand the yesterday's class, but the one for Friday.
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 All right.
Not so clear, but today with the formula thing, good.
Okay, fine. That's great. That's nice. All right. So, Mr. Apaflo from Ghana, please just unmute. Mr. Apaflo, you can unmute yourself. Thank you. All right. How are you, sir?
Hello, I'm fine. Yeah. How are you too?
I'm good.
Yeah, the Friday class, it didn't went well for me at all.
Ah.
I wasn't able to.
Did you join from the beginning? Did you start
So
from beginning?
Yes, I started from the beginning. I started from the beginning actually, but unfortunately, it didn't go well.
All right, fine. It's a nice thing you're here. All right.
I
Just
was also
relax.
busy, so I wasn't able to watch the replay.
All right. Great. We'll look into it today, okay? I think one more lady, just one more lady before we go. Mr. Olalekun, I've been trying to reach you. I don't know if you're with your phone, with your laptop. Can you unmute, sir?
Oh, okay. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. The network has not been friendly here.
I understand.
It's been on and off, but I'm back.
Okay, great.
Welcome. Yeah, what did you ask?
That's Friday class, table relationship.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Table relationship, yeah. I wanted to know if you're very okay with it. Do you understand it very well?
And to a large extent.
Okay.
When you have two tables that you have to join, you relate them with is a primary key and a second key, which is a fourth. Say, for instance, you have customer and the cost table, and you have like he mentioned. Okay. Yeah.
Risky one.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you, boss.
Hello. Oh, okay. I
you.
think there's a background noise.
Yes, I've
okay.
muted her.
We have three. Yeah, we have three tables here. Apocalypse sales. Then we have the store.
Okay, Mr. Lalik, that means you understand fact table, dimension table, all of this in relationship, primary keys, foreign keys.
Yes.
All right, great. That's great. That's all I wanted to know. So we just jump into it. Yeah, let's jump into it now. So guys, you're all welcome again. I'll just go straight to, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Mr. Lale, if you can just leave your mic on so I can get feedback from you faster. Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So actually when you're starting Power BI newly, you don't have to worry about all of these things because Power BI is so powerful that It just helps you to do the connection. Once you load your table, it will just automatically detect the connection for you. That's why you see when we started Power BI, we didn't even bother go. I think that was okay. When I was showing you around, I actually came to this place, but I didn't say anything about here because I knew that Power BI was going to do the job for us, and it does it. So, but when you begin to work as a data analyst, not like the Power BI will stop connecting it for you. It will still connect each table you load. Let me show you how it does that. In all of these things are settings in Power BI. You set it in a way that once you load the data, it automatically connects it. If you come to your file, click on File, then you come down here to this option and setting. You click on option. Then you can see that when I loaded this data, it did not connect. I loaded this table, 3 tables, Apocalypse Sale, Apocalypse Store, and customer information. These are different tables, as you can see, with different columns, but they are not connected. Now, why didn't Power BI connect it for me? Because I disabled that function that enables it to connect for me. So if you come here now, you click on options here, then you just allow it to load up. When it loads up, you're going to see this global. Are you seeing this global here? This place my mouse is. Can you see my mouse? Okay, good. So this global, if you come down here, you see load data. Load data, you click on it. So this is where you now see type of detection. Import relationship from data source to first load. So look at this one. Auto detects new relationship after data is loaded. So once you turn it on, by default, it's always on. It's me that I just turned it off to show you, but your own should be on already. Just check it, it's on whenever it comes to your Power BI. So if this is turned on, automatically, whenever you load any data that has table relationships, it will try as much as possible to connect it for you. So you don't even have to bother about here. But the thing is, when you begin to work as a data analyst, you really need to know and understand this relationship very well, so that when there are issues, there are sometimes when you have issues, when your tables are not working, then you need to troubleshoot. You need to know where that problem is and be able to connect it. So let's come here, for example, if you look at this 3 table, this is a sales table. This one has the customer name, this one has the store details, and this one has the order details, that's the sales. For example, if we want to know cities, this is city. We want to know the revenues from each cities. So we want to know the sales from each cities, or the units sold from each cities. Customer name, okay, or let's say store, product price. Okay, so let's say we want to know the orders that we got from each city. We'll click on orders. Then we'll come to this table. We'll click on cities, all right? So it gives us something like this. So these are the orders we got from each of these cities. And you know it is not possible that we'll get the same orders from all these cities. We all know that, right? So we know that this is definitely wrong. If you're working as a data analyst and you see something like this, you know that this is so wrong. So there's a problem. And you have to go and troubleshoot and know where the problem is coming from. So the problem is because if you come to your tables, you can see that they are not connected. That this table now, this thing you're looking for, let me go back here. You want to know cities, you want to know the orders you go from each of the cities. You have, these are the cities, 1, 2, 3, 4, all these cities. I don't know if you can see the city name, New York, something, JC, Dallas, and the rest of them. So the city is in a table, this customer information table, while the orders are in the order table, which is the sales table. So for this thing to give you the accurate answer you need, you definitely need to connect them so that this table can be seen, this table. So that is where your connection comes in. That is where your relationship comes in. So you need to go into this table. These are we are looking for information table and sales table. This is the information table and this is the sales table. So we need to check how do they relate. So you now check we can definitely know that customer ID is here, customer ID is here, right? So we can use this customer ID to connect them. All right. So we can just put this one here, and then customer ID, connecting to customer ID. Then we click on save. Just follow through. Let me just show you something before we now go into the main explanation. So we can see that they are now connected. If we come back to our table, we can now see that it gives us accurate values. You can now see that this city bought more than this city. They are now seeing each other. So this is now working. All right. So I'll just cancel this. We'll still come back here later, but let's start from the scratch. So what I want to show now is my Excel table. Let me show you Excel table. Did we see what I did in Power BI, please? I just showed you the reason why we need to understand relationship. I've not explained relationship yet, okay? I'm just showing you the reason why we need to understand relationship. Can you see my Excel table now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Before I come to this one, let me go to a smaller table. Okay, what are you seeing on the table now? Can you see passports?
Can we see what?
Passport, somewhere I wrote passports.
No. It's
Okay.
only the sales apocalypse says at the zone.
Okay. So let me share that other. I don't know why I have to be sharing this table one by one. Okay.
Yeah,
you see
we're
it now?
seeing passport now.
Okay. What can you see now?
Customer, other two
Product.
products.
Okay, good. Let me just convert them to tables so that you'll appreciate it more. Table. All right, so these are the three tables that I want to use to explain what you need to understand. Like I told us in one of our classes that when one of the rule of data storage is that each column must contain the same kind of information, right? So this column must contain numbers. This column, as you can see, this one contains names, and these are just names. This one contains dates, and these are just dates. Now, when you look at, let me show you another table. When you look at a bigger table, look at this one. I don't know how I'll do this thing so that you'll be seeing it one side. Just go there. Okay. Can you see this table now? Customer ID, customer, product, order, unit sold, data purchase, date purchase. Okay, good.
Yes.
So this table now, you can see that we have, okay, let me show you that one that we used in our class. We see that's the one we are definitely going to load in Power BI to work with. Can you see this one? This bigger table now. Order one and order two. Can you see order one and order two?
Yes.
So now let me show you something. Here we have order, we have customer name, we have customer gender, city, country, all of these things, selling price, cost price. So this thing you're having here now is not proper if you want to store it or if you want to take it to Power BI. Because the rule is that each variable or each table must contain information about a particular thing. In this particular one now, we have three different things. Here we have the customer in this table, customer details in this table. We have the order details. You have the order, you have the quantity, you have the order date in this table, and you have the products in this table as well in one table. So to have a very clean data, there's a need to create each table to separate them. Each of this information must be in different tables. So this is like three tables merged together in one table. So we have to bring out order table, we have to have customers table, and we have to have what? Product table. If you look at that order table, the apocalypse sales, let me show you that one. If you look at the apocalypse sale, that's what you're seeing now, right? Apocalypse store. You can see that it is
This is
separated.
top. This is
Mm.
6.
Yes, yes. You can see now that, let me explain this table. In this first table, store table, you have information about the product alone. You can see that we have the product ID, product name, product price, product cost. This table is just only the product. You cannot see customer's name here or customer's detail. Then if you come to this customer information, this one, another table, you have customer ID, customer name, customer address, customer city, customer state, and customer zip code. This table is talking about just the customer and nothing else. If you come to this third one, you now have the customer ID, the customer name, the products, the order. This one is now talking about everything. This one joins all the tables together, and this is the perfect data storage format. But there has to be a relationship in this table before you can move them to Power BI and do all those your connection. There has to be a relationship. So how do you now identify this relationship? How do you know that this one is connected to this one is connected to this one? That is what we're about to explain with this other table now. So please just follow. You will get everything. I just wanted to start from scratch. All right, good. So I'm back to this table that I created. So now I've separated these three tables instead of putting them in just one big table where you have customer name, customer ID, order name, order detail, products, everything in one table. I've separated them into three different tables. If we're going to load this data to Power BI, we'll load this customer table as one table. Mr. Olale, you can see my table, right? Customer, order, and
Yes.
product. Okay, good. So we'll load this customer table into one table. We'll load this order as another table and load product as another table. Then we'll now look for a way to connect them. So what we are looking for now is the relationship between these three tables. When it gets to Power BI, how do we connect them? How do they relate to each other so that we will not have that incident where we will now load it and all of them will be the same thing. There will be no connection and relationship. So let's start from the beginning. Customer. This customer table now, as you can see, it contains customer ID, only customer, nothing else. It contains customer name. So this table has only customer, nothing else. You cannot see other anything or other here or products here. This one has, we started talking about orders, the orders place, the ID, the order name, the order date, the order, customer ID here. So this one talks about only orders. But here now you can see customer ID in this place. And there's a customer ID here. This is to tell you that, oh, there's a connection between these two. Wow. Now we have something that they have in common. But let's now focus on that thing that they have in common, which is what? The customer ID. Let's focus on the two of them. There's a difference between the customer ID in the customer table and the customer ID in the other table. The customer ID in customer table is unique. Mr. Prof has only one customer ID. You can never see another Mr. Prof. Even if you see Mr. Prof appear again down here, he's going to carry another customer ID. So 1 cannot repeat, 2 cannot repeat, 3 cannot repeat. That's the meaning of unique. So this is called the primary key in this customer table. The customer ID in the customer table is the primary key. It's like the home key. This is the home of the customer. So the keys here are the primary key because they are unique in this table. Then if you come to the others table, you can also find customer ID, but it is changing. You can see that one, we have more than one. There are about 3 of them here. Okay, sorry, can you hear me well now? Please, can you hear me well now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
it's clear.
Okay, good. All right, Mr. Kofi, thank you. So if you look at the customer ID here, you can see that 1 appeared 3 times. So why is 1 appearing 3 times here? Because 1 is a foreign key here. It's not here. It is a primary key in this table, customer table. But in other table, it's a foreign key. As long as it's a foreign key here, it can appear as many times as possible. So what this means is that wherever you see 1 here, if you trace that 1 back to customer table, you know that this belongs to Mr. Kofi. So what it means is that Mr. Kofi bought something on this date. Then on this date, Mr. Coffee bought again. This is Mr. Coffee again. On this date, he bought another thing again. So these are orders placed by Mr. Coffee in this table. In different days, as you can see, different dates. And he bought different products, bread. Mr. Kofi bought bread on 2nd. He bought oatmeal on 19th. He now bought biscuits on the 31st. So Mr. Kofi can buy as many things as he likes any day he wants. Each time Mr. Kofi buys anything, his customer ID will appear here as 1. But in this main home here now, it is only ones that you can see because there's only one Mr. Kofi here. Even if you have another Mr. Kofi, it will give it another customer ID because it's a new customer. It will become 11, but still Mr. Kofi. So that is what when we say it is unique. Customer ID in the customer's table is primary key and it is unique. Do you understand? So in your family, you have your surname, your last name is your father's name. It is unique in your family. Now in your extended family, this customer table is like your extended family. In your extended family, there can be many surnames, but your own particular family has only one surname, and that surname can never repeat. It can never repeat. Your surname is your surname. In your entire extended family, your extended family can have different surname of different fathers, you know. That is what it means here. So now let's come to the product table. In the product table, we have the product ID. We have the product name. So this table is basically telling us everything about products, the name of the product, the ID, the cost of the product, the selling price, the order ID. Now, there's another thing that happened here. Order ID just suddenly appears here in the product's ID. And here we also have order ID. That is to say that order is related to products. There's a connection between them. That means they can actually work together. Yes, exactly, Abiola. Yes, that's it. Matric number, exactly. In school, you use this customer ID or any ID. In school, it is called matric number. No two students can have the same matric number. But two different students, 5 students, 10 students can have the same name. So the school system does not differentiate students by their name, but by their matric numbers. Thank you so much for that example. So now we have order table and product table. We just spotted something that's the same among them, which is the order ID. We can find it in product table, then the order ID in order table. Now, when you come to order table, this order ID in order table is unique because you can only see one A here, you can only see one B and one C. That is to say that order ID in order table is what? The primary key. But if we go to product table, look, there are 2A, 2, D, C, there are even 2D, 2D. So in this place, it is called what? Foreign key or alternate key, because it can have many times. What it means is that anywhere you see A, just go back to the order table and know that the product, your order we're talking about is bread. It means that the product name here, product 1, is bread. That is, this product A, bread, this person bought bread, this person bought bread again 2 times. You understand? So this person is D. What is the product in D? D is biscuit. So in the main table, the primary key only occurs once, while this is the main table, the primary key occurs once, while the foreign key can occur as many times as possible in another table. So now let's look at how can we connect these 3 tables. Let's take customer and product. Now I want you to look at customer and products. Let me reduce the size of this screen. Okay, Zoom is on. In customer and product, is there any relationship between these two? Can there be a relationship between them? Let's look at them very well, please. Just look at it and see if there can be any relationship. Can you see anyone?
There's no relationship between.
Okay. Are you
Except
sure about that?
you relate customer to order by customer
No,
ID.
I'm talking about customer and products.
Okay.
Is there any relationship? Please check well. If you can see
Customer
anyway. And products.
product.
Customer, yes. Is there any way we can relate them? Okay, someone's Mr. Dapo, thank you. He said none. Now,
There is none.
okay, now let me use an example that is very clear to you that you can understand and relate to. Now, a man that is old enough to get married. Does a man who is old enough to get married, and then there's a child, a newborn baby, the man wants a newborn baby. Can that man have a newborn baby without a woman? The answer is no. So this customer table is the man, then this product is the baby. Can there be a connection between the man and that baby he wants without a woman? No. The other table is a woman. So until a woman comes in, before a man can have a baby. This is what it means. Customer has no business with a product in a store. He can never even touch the product unless he places an order for it. If you walk into a supermarket, you tell them you want to buy a bottle of water. Until you order for it, before you now have access to it, you can now open it and drink. That is, for you to access product, for a customer to access product, you must have to pass through the order table. That's why the customer ID is connected to the product ID, and the product ID is connected to what? The order ID is connected to the product ID. Can you see the connection between the three of them now?
The question you asked was whether customer has direct relationship with the product. It can only, I mean, from what we are seeing, the relationship can be built through the order.
Exactly. So without the order, the customer cannot access the product.
It's like Mr. Criss going to the market. Mr. Criss has gone to the market to order product A, biscuit and what have you. Biscuits, you can see the customer ID showing for bread. Mr. Criss has gone to the market to buy bread, to buy chips. So the way they can only identify the customer is by the customer ID, which is shown over here, the last column.
Exactly. Thank you. That is it. So without an order, customer cannot have a product. You have to place an order to have a product. So let me do the connection again. The customer ID is what is connecting customer to what? To the order. So customer ID is in order table. Customer ID is in the order table. They have relationship. A customer can place order as many times as they want, but what product are they placing order for? Now, they have to rely on this order table that have order ID with the product table. This is just a simple way to understand this relationship. See, if you don't understand the relationship here, it will be hard for you when you go to Power BI, because this is simply how it works. Power BI, you know, it works.
I just wish you could see that. I wish that was enough for him, but clearly it's not going to be so.
Okay.
We want the son be lost when he dropped out of MIT.
I just have to start. Faith, Constant, all these people that are meeting themselves.
Are gone, Dad.
I don't know what is your problem. Okay.
Mr. Biz should motives.
Yes, I have muted everybody.
Okay.
So you can see my screen, right? You're seeing the tables, 3 tables.
You can see the 3 tables.
Okay, good. So please, do we understand this relationship before we move it to the next level?
Yes, we do.
We don't, sir. Yes, okay, good. So when you hear the concept of foreign key, product key, you don't have any confusions again, right? Foreign key, product key. So one of the ways to know a foreign key is that they are a visitor in the table. So usually the primary key bears the name of the table. The name of this table is order. So the order ID is definitely the primary key here. So any other, this one now is also bearing ID, but it is a foreigner because it's not bearing the name of the table. Customer is not the name of this table. Name of this table is order. So it is a foreigner. If you go to Ghana right now, and if I go to Ghana and say that my name is Criss, Ghana will be surprised. They've never had that surname before. It's not relating, man. They can't relate to it. Or if Mr. Nana comes to Nigeria and say that my name is Kofi, Mr. Kofi Nana, I definitely know that this is not a Nigerian. So he's a foreigner in this place. He's not bearing our kind of names, right? So Nigeria is the table, our home. And the name that guy is bearing in this Nigeria is not a Nigerian name. So definitely he's a foreigner. So this table now is the customer's table. The name of this table is customer's table. So everything you see here is customer. Customer ID is the primary key here. If you see customer ID here, that means customer traveled to another table, another country, and he's definitely a foreigner in that country. He's a foreigner here. And as a foreigner, you can do something as many times as you want, right? You can buy as many times, you can place order as many times as you want. But as a homeboy here, you can just only once, you have only one time. So if you want to know all the orders placed by Mr. Kofi, all we need to do is just to come to order table, check 1, 2, 3. He placed 3 orders. We can just go back and trace who placed these 3 orders. If you want to know who placed these orders, maybe your manager asks you to please get me who placed the order with order ID of 3. I want to know the customer, give me the customer's detail of that customer that placed order 3. So you just check all the orders placed by order 3, 1, 2, just 2 of them. Then you go back to the customer's table because you're looking for the customer. You go to customer's table and look for 3. Bam, you now know that, oh, it's Mr. Bishop and he's a male. He's from so city. You can now give all the details of this customer just by knowing the order ID from this place. All right. So the same thing here, that's all about foreign key and primary key. Now, when you talk about, do I talk about relationship here? Okay. Yeah, so let's talk about cardinality. Our tutor also mentioned cardinality, right? So let's explain that before we move on to cardinality. You talk about, in fact, just call this thing to make it easier. I don't really like this name, cardinality. It looks somehow like a sin, you know? So I'll just change it. Let's change it to something else. We'll call it, why is this thing doing formula? That's okay. Another name that we can call it is relationship type, or types of relationship. That's another name for this cardinality. Type of relationship. What relationship type do they have? So in Power BI, there are basically 4 types of cardinality or relationship type that every table must use. So the first one is 1 to many. I don't know if you're seeing my board. 1 to many. The second one is many to 1. So it's just the opposite of this one. So they are the same thing. These 2 type of relationship is the same thing. Then the third one is what? 1 to 1. Then the fourth one is many to many. So these are the relationship types we have in Power BI when you talk about cardinality, okay? So this is just simply to say that these tables can only relate to each other through one of these ways. This table, any table you see, no matter the number of tables you see in Power BI, they can either relate to each other through one of these ways. So let's begin to look at them one after the other. 1 to many, it means one to many, right? One to many, many to one is these two are the same thing. See them as the same thing. One to many means that we have one customer that has many orders. You can come here, you see one prof, one order ID, this customer ID. You can trace this customer ID when you come to the order table, 1, 2, 3, one to many. So this customer has different IDs here. That means they place different orders. They can place as many orders as they want. So the relationship type between these two tables is one to many, because there are many. It is one here and it is scattered here. So we can call this the dimension table and we can call this the fact table, because in the dimension table, you have transactions going on. Transaction, they keep changing. The details can change. This customer now can decide to buy bread. This customer can buy oatmeal. This customer, so the transaction is changing. They are not, but it's still the same one ID. You just know that anywhere you see one, no matter what they buy, it's the same customer. All right. So this is a dimension table. And the factual table, this fact table, you can only have one customer here that doesn't change. The name of that customer is just the name. That ID is just the ID there. So the dimension table has it has transaction that keeps changing, while the fact table doesn't change. Do you understand that? So the relationship between these two tables is that this customer has just one ID to many IDs. That is the meaning of that one to many. If you reverse it, is relationship one to many to one customer. So if you're connecting these two tables both ways, we have two type, the single type and the both ways, the both type. So if you want to connect this customer in both ways, it means you allow this table to relate to this table in two different ways. That is, you can say, okay, you want to allow this one to relate to this one, but usually you always use this single. Anyway, when we get to that, when we get to Power BI, I'll explain this one better. But just understand that one to many is because you have one ID to many different orders that they can place. And it is the same thing here. You can have many to one. Then one to one, let me leave one to one first. I'll explain it differently. Then many to many is like when you have repetition. If you have prof, different prof here, and you have them placing different orders, the same ID. But this one is usually not common. You hardly see this method. You hardly meet them in your lifetime, You see these two, you hardly meet them. This is the most common one that you always meet every time. Always, is always there. So let me explain this one-to-one. This is how it works. Can you see passports, Mr. Olalekun?
Yes.
Okay, this is how the one-to-one works. One-to-one, it means Mr. Olalekun, are you seeing this table? Can you tell me something about this table? Is there any way, how many informations we have here? Are they the same? Is this table okay?
Is it possible to zoom it?
To zoom it, I'm not seeing that
Let
zoom.
me see my glasses.
Okay, maybe, okay, don't worry. Someone else can just look at it. Somebody in the group can just help us out. Anybody? Maybe Faith, are you there?
What do you want us to see?
Okay, let's have Promise. Promise, are you active? Can you unmute yourself? Promise.
What's the question?
I just wanted that table, I wanted them to see the table. And Promise, how are you?
Ask the question again.
Okay, can you see the table?
Yes, passport.
Passport, yes, exactly. So look at this table now. Is there a way we can divide this table in and have more tables from it? From what we have explained, the table is visible. I believe you can see the table, man. I don't know. I'm trying to. Okay, let me zoom. Let me zoom it. Can you see it now?
Yes.
So this table, from what we explained earlier in the other table, we talked about table now. This table, look at customer. I know in one table that I showed you, all these things were in one table like this. You have customer, order, product, all of them in one table. But we're not able to, name them separately, bring out each table to dissect them, bring out customers. You can see this table is a customer table. You cannot see anything other here. It is just customers detail, everything. So let's look at this table here and see. Promise, are you still there?
I'm there with
Oh
you.
yeah. So look at this table. Tell us, is there a way we can have something like this now? 2 or 3 more tables from this one table.
I'm going to say this is one to many, because from passport you must have an issue. The date the passport was issued on to you. You understand? How
Yes.
valid is the name, the last name, and the country. So I believe from that passport ID, which is the primary this thing, we can also have from this table, you can have, I don't know how many tables you want me to divide it to. No, I don't know. But we can have the name. You
All right,
understand?
it's fine.
We
It's
can have the
fine.
passport at the ahead.
Okay, thank
We,
you.
we can, we, I think we can divide it by country and the passport ID. I
All right,
mean,
that's fine.
we
That's
have
fine.
different countries.
That's fine. All right. So this is all that we needed. So this thing now that you're seeing here, we can actually divide it into 2. It's just 2. All right. Passports.
And the country.
Yeah, let me copy it, put it here. Something is missing. The passports ID. Good. So copy the country, copy it, put it here. Then the ID
The ID.
is here. Good. So let's convert this to a table. And let's convert this to a table. All right. Can you see what we did now? Can everybody see this? I don't know if everybody is seeing this blackboard that we're using.
Yes, we are seeing it.
You are seeing it.
All right, fine. So good. You can see that this passport table is not a proper table because you have passports, you have the customer name, you have all this country, and it's in one table. And we have agreed that we cannot have 2 different information in one table. Each information must be in a different table. So this table is the what? The passport table. Passport table. And here is the customer's table, or the user. We can call it the user, passport users table. So in this table, we have the details of just the customer, the user of that passport, the customer's name, the customer's second name, and then the customer's country. Then here we have just only the passport. This table is telling us about the passport information, the ID, the passport date, and the passport issue date and expiring date. That's what this table means. So to understand one-to-one relationship, it means that if you want to talk about Mr. John, if you want to know who owns this number one ID, it is Mr. John, and it's from USA, and his passport will expire. So you want to know who owns the ID one. Come here. You want to know who owns this ID one. You know it's Mr. John. You know he's from Mr. John Bull. He's from USA. Then you want to know when is Mr. John's. Maybe you're not seeing this table now. This table is covered. You're not seeing it. And your manager says, okay, Mr. John is from USA. Let me know when is his passport going to expire. So you need to go to this passport table. We are assuming, just in your head, assume that this table is long, it's very, very big. Like it's about 1,000, or if you go to immigration's office, it's very, very like more than 5,000 names, and it's very long table. So he now tells you that Mr. John Bull, or he gives you Mr. John Bull's name and said, when is his passport expiring, so that we'll be able to know when to contact him to come and renew his passport. So you now check Mr. John Bull and you can't see any information about expiring in this table that you have. So what do you need to do? You cannot take Mr. Jumbo's name to go and start looking for, because you definitely need to go to the passport table. All right, you need to go to passport table to check that information. But if you come to passport table, you cannot find names. Even if you find name, there may be so many Mr. Jumbos. So what do you need to pick from this table? The only information you need from this table is the customer ID. That is all, because it is unique. There's no other person that can have this ID. So you take this ID, take it to this table. Once you input that ID, it will bring out the issue date and the expiring date for Mr. Jumbo. Now, because, in the other table, we saw that it was changing here. In this table, it was primary key here. If you come here, it became secondary foreign key. But now, in this table, it is primary key here, passport ID. Here it is primary key. Whether it's primary key or secondary key, whichever one it is, but it is not changing, because Mr. Jumbo cannot have more than one passport in his lifetime. He can actually renew his passport, but I did my passport renewal last week. But you discover that if he renews his passport, he's still going to have the same passport ID in that passport, in that new passport, no matter how many times he changes it. And he only has one information. He can only come from one USA. So it is one ID, 1-to-1. If you want to check Mr. Jumbo, if you come here, it is 1. If you want to check Mr. Maxwell, it is the same one ID. So this is how you should understand 1-to-1, the connection. So it is ID to ID. If you take this thing to Power BI, it is connecting this ID table to this ID table. And it is 1-to-1. There's no other way. So when you're connecting two tables that have, the two of them have unique IDs. You can see that they have unique ID here. You can see that they have unique ID here. So it is 1-to-1. Do you understand this thing? Anyway, you may not even bother yourself about 1-to-1, because you hardly meet it. You see 1-to-1, you see many-to-many, those two, you may not even meet it at all. But if you ever do, just know that this is how it works. Mostly you'll be meeting that many, 1-to-many all the time. All right, so that's it. So that is all about, I'm just very happy that you now understand foreign key, primary key, table relationship, 1-to-1, many-to-many, and many-to-1. So are we very clear on that? Please, if you have questions, just type it. Let's see if we can proceed, so that we can be able to load these things to power, just like other and other one. Yes, good. Yes, yeah. So does anybody still have issue with how to relate tables? So we all understand how to relate tables now. Any table we see. So all we need to do is that any table we see, just look for what is common between the two tables. Now, another thing you need to know is that it may not always be the same. It may not always be it may not always be the heading, maybe because of customer ID. Now, product, order name. This product now, product name, we can come here and have here now, product 1 to 10. Let's do something like this. Good. Did you see what I did here? Please, did you see my screen, Mr. Olalekan?
Yes.
Okay, good. So these two tables now, you can have this other name, can also be product name, the name of the product. It was bread, this and that. So we can have another table that has product 1 that will tell us what product 1 is. Maybe product 1 is bread, product 2 is oatmeal, all of that. But let's not bother about that. But just know that if you want to connect this table now, they have something in common. If you look at this column is the same thing with this one. When you take it to Power BI, it will connect, it will work perfectly, because they have the same information. So it must not always be the name of the column header that product ID must be product ID. If inside the table, you already know that the information in this table, even if the name of the heading here is not the same thing, but maybe inside here, you can just have maybe product. You have just product like this. So if you take these two tables to Power BI, Power BI now will not automatically connect it, because what Power BI uses to connect is the heading. It will look at the table headings and then connect them. That's how it identifies its own relationship. So if you take these two tables to Power BI, it will not connect them because it's not seeing two headings that have the same, two columns that have the same name. All right. So when it's now when you get into there, you now connect it by yourself. You know that this, what you have here is what you have here. Once you do that, it will accept it and know, yeah, that is true. That's true. That's true. To just take it in and then it will work for you like that. All right. So that's it about that. Let's move to another thing before we now move into Power BI. Now, let's look at this table now critically. Let me come back to this table. You can see where I have, can you see this table, sir? Let me turn them
Yes.
to table so that we can appreciate it. So this thing is simple, Sha. It's just that it's kind of is a theory. You know, we don't really like theories and all these things. We just want to be drawing charts, you know, writing formulas and all of that. So when it comes to theory, it's somehow difficult to, you know, flow, but all the same. So if we look at these three tables there that we have, look at these three tables. Look at this and this. The customer information, like we now understand that each table must contain a unique information about a particular thing. So this table contains information about just the customer here. You have customer ID, you have customer name, you have the address of the customer, the city of the customer, the state of the customer, and the zip code of that customer. This table is just for customer and nothing else. Let's come to the store table. This store table contains just information about the stores, different stores that this customer is buying things from. All right. So the store name is you have the product ID. Of course, every store, a store should have a product. So these are properties of a store. Is you have the product's name, nylon rolls, all this thing, backpack. Then the price of the product is there. Then the product cost is there. Now, when you come to the sales now, you have the customer ID, you have the customer name again here. Remember, we have the customer name. So now, what this customer information is telling you is that we have only how many customers? Only 4 customers that are patronizing us. Sorry, these are, okay, yeah, only 4 customers that are patronizing us. So, but when you come to the main table here, you see that there are so many these things. So what it means is that if you check inside this thing, it is only those 4 customers that are patronizing us repeatedly. So you can see, let's take Uncle Joe's Prep Shop. Uncle Joe's Prep Shop. You can see Uncle Joe Prep Shop patronized us here. Uncle Joe patronized us here again. Uncle Joe's, look at him here again, here again, here again, here again. You see, can you see only Uncle Joe? So that's how any customer you see here must be one of these 4. Alex, the analyst, can see Alex, the analyst is here. Alex, the analyst is there. No, not just him. Alex is here. Alex is here. Alex is here. So Alex is here. So what this table is saying is that these are just the only 4 customers. This is like unique. This is a unique values. They did not appear many times. Their ID. So when you come here and you see Uncle Joe, this is Uncle Joe's ID. The same 1, 2, 3, 4. Anywhere you see Uncle Joe is 1, 2, 3, 4. Anywhere you see Uncle Joe, but in this table, Uncle Joe appeared only once. It is unique in this table. Therefore, in the customer table, this customer ID is what? Primary key. And you can also use customer to relate these 2 tables because the customer name is also a primary key. Primary key must not always be numbers, though. It can be letters, but it's always good to be just numbers anyway. So you can also use this one because they are unique. Uncle Joe appeared only once here. You can never see any other Uncle Joe after the first line, after the first row. So it appears once, but in this place, customer ID here is what? A second foreign key.
Foreign key.
Because you can see that Uncle Joe is here, Uncle Joe is here, Uncle Joe is here, Uncle Joe is here, Uncle Joe is here. So Customer ID is serving as foreign key here. You can also use customer as foreign key as well, because Uncle Joe is here, Uncle Joe is here, Uncle Joe is here. And if you go down, you still meet a lot of Uncle Joes and all that. So this table, this information, customer information and Apocalypse sales, we have two connections. You can decide to use this one to connect it, it will work. You can use this one to connect it, it will also work, right? So let's come to Apocalypse store. We have the product ID. Then if you come to the main store, you have the product ID. So this one, you can see product ID is unique. You only have 1001 here, 1002, 1003. Only once. It's unique here. So in this product table, the product ID is what? The primary key. But let's pick just this 1001. Let's see if it is a foreign key here. Let's see, 1001 appeared here. 1001 appeared again. 1001 appeared again. So definitely it's a foreign key here. That means we can connect this table with this one using what? What can we use to connect these two tables?
Product ID.
Of course, the product ID, because they are, you have, it is what? It is unique here, even though it's unique here.
It's primary
But,
key here.
but it is, yeah, it is primary key here because this is its table. But down here, it is a foreign key because it appeared many times. So now, let me see if you guys are following. I want to call somebody by myself this time. I'm not going to call you at DBC. Think I'll call you. No. I can't do that. No. I want to call a Ghanaian, Kaminu Sahahuna. I'm sorry about if I pronounce it wrongly. I'll just unmute you. Please unmute. Kaminu Sahahuna. Are you sleeping? Are you with us? You can unmute yourself. I know you, Mr. DBC. Mr. DBC. Please unmute. Kaminu Sahanuna. Okay, that person is not there. Esther Ohiri. Please unmute, Esther. Esther, please, can you unmute? Hello, Esther. How about Faith? Faith, can you unmute? So everybody is not with us. What's going on?
What's the question?
No, this table now that we have here, I wanted us to see, to just talk about the kind of relationship they have. Okay, we already know it is one to many. Yeah, one to many. Yeah, since nobody said it's one to many. So this relationship, we can see that one ID, just one ID, has so many, 1, 2, 3, and so many. So it is one, the connection here is one to many, right? So the same thing, even if you want to use the customer column to connect it, you can see that it is one Uncle Joe to many Uncle Joes here. So it is one to many connection, one to many. Now let's look at this one. Okay, now these two we can use many to many. Good. This many to many can work here because no, it cannot. Even though they have two columns connecting, but inside each of the column is just one information that you can use to connect the other information. So many to one and one to many can work perfectly here. If you come here, you can see that products can connect to this one. Okay, good.
Leave your seat wherever you are. Your
Good.
bags, your Bibles, everything you
All
came
right.
to church. Please
All
be on
right,
your way.
Pastor.
God bless you as you come.
I've muted you. So you are in this meeting and you're also in church, Mr. Man. What is wrong with you? So that is it about this. Let's quickly move it to Power BI and see how this thing works. All right. I'll just launch my Power BI and then move that table there. So remember that Power BI can actually help you automatically do that connection, right? So in case it doesn't do that, we'll do that by ourselves since we now know how to do it. In fact, if I were you, I'll just go and disable that Power BI so that Power BI will not be doing it for me, at least for this week, until I learn it very well before I can now start. Remember how to do it. Just come to File, go to Options and all that and do it, okay? Disconnect it so that you'll be doing the connection by yourself. So I want to load that information. So when you see Power BI loading that thing, when what it will tell you that it's working on it, what it's actually doing is trying to work at the background, how to connect your table and all of that before it now loads it. So these are the 3 tables we have. We already know how it looks like in Excel. So the Apocalypse Store, this one, the customer, the Apocalypse Store, the Apocalypse Sale, and the customer. So I'll just select the 3 of them and load them at once into my Power BI. So this is, I don't need to transform it. We'll have nothing to do there. So I'll just load it straight into Power BI so that we can now see, so you see, it is loading. This loading now that is loading is actually doing all of those background work, helping you to do the connection, do this one, load up the file, check the file type, check the formatting to make sure that everything is, it comes in well. That's what it's doing now. Now, once it's done, it's done now. You can see that's calculated everything, the number of rows. So now load it into Power BI and it has loaded it. Look at our table. This is the customer's information. Can you see the
can't see
Power?
the loading. You can't see the Power BI.
Oh, sorry. Are you serious? So this is it.
It's just come up now.
So what I did, I just simply loaded the information. I just clicked here, selected the file. Just, this is the file. I just selected it and that's why I brought it in here. I clicked on load instead of transform because I don't need to transform it. So it has loaded the information. Can you see the Power BI now?
Yeah, we are seeing it now.
Okay,
But
let me load it again.
We didn't see the load here.
Let me do it again. When I come to this get data, I want to load an Excel file. And this is the file I want to load. It's saved in my system. I'll just double click on it or click once and click on open. Once I click on open, it will start loading it into, are you seeing the navigator? Are you seeing navigator? Okay, it has brought those tables. Remember in Excel, it was 3 tables, right? The Apocalypse Sales, the Apocalypse Store, and the customer information. Do we remember this from Excel? So I want to load the 3 tables. I can load one if I don't want the 3 of them. I can load only one, but I certainly want the 3 of them because now you don't need to load 3 of them if one table has all the information you need. But remember, we separated it. We put sales in different table, put store, products in different table and customer name in different table. So we need to load the 3 of them so that we can have all the information. So each of them, you can see them here, all the information that are loaded. All right. So I'll click on load to load it into Power BI. I don't need to transform it. Everything there is okay. I don't need to do any cleaning. We already know how to do cleaning, so we don't need to do any cleaning there. So we just load it straight up into Power BI. It is loading now. Can you see loading?
Yes.
We can see.
All right, good. So it has loaded, but I loaded it before. So let me just remove this one. Let me delete it from model. It's not needed. So it is gone. Apocalypse Store, I'll delete it from model. It is gone. And then customer information, I'll delete it from model. So I have just one table. I loaded it twice, that's why. So now we have the table loaded here in Power BI. You can see the table customer information. These are those information in the customers column. The customers table, these are the information on the column, and then the Apocalypse Store. So it's basically the same thing that we had in Excel that we brought in here. But we want to pay attention to the table connection. So please, what is the difference between load and transform? So transform is when if you have some, we'll still do
When
another
you want
table.
to clean.
Yeah, if you want to clean your data, if there are some errors in it, or you want to confirm that there are no errors, you can now use that transform. Now, if you click on transform, it will first of all bring up Power Query. Power Query will help you to clean the data before you now load it at the end of the day. But because we don't want to clean it, we just load it straight, okay? So we'll still use another table that will load, don't worry. Let's just quickly look at this one. So here is the tables, this data part. You see the table. Here is your visualization. Here are all the tools you need to, I think we've done all this one. So we'll just go straight to table. If you see tables, this is going to show you all those tables that you've loaded. Look at them, those tables here in this table section. If you have 3 tables, look at the third one. If you click on it, it will show you every information there. If you click on it, it will show you every information there. Okay. I deleted the wrong table, but I think it will still work, sure. So now model view. Model view is our schematic, like is our model. Let me click on it. It will show you the connection, how the tables are connected. That's what happens here in model view. So you can see this table is long. I don't know. It's long. It's the other table. Let me go and bring it. I don't know.
You can bring it underneath the 2.
It's fine here. You can see the 3 tables, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So fine. So this is the customers table, this is the Apocalypse sales table, and this is the Apocalypse store. So store sales, you can see how Power BI arranged it for you. Like we said, it is exactly the same thing in Excel. If you go to Excel, you see that it's the same way that table is. Look at it. It is the same thing. You see, Apocalypse store, this one and this one, the same information. Is the same thing. So Excel will help you to connect it. After connecting it, you can even see that Excel went ahead to even arrange it for you. You know, how the connection will work. It put the fact table, the dimension table. So the fact table, that's what they call star connection in Excel. In a Power BI, star connection. I think the tutor explained it very well that day, so I don't even need to touch it. It's just connecting different fact table to different dimension table to one fact table. So the dimension table are these ones. You can have as many as possible. You can have 4, 5, 6. You can have another one on top here, have another one below, But here we'll have just 2 tables connecting to one table, the sales. So just like we established that customer has no business with store. You have no business with placing order. Sorry, you have no business with product except it places an order, right? That is why you can see that customer did not connect straight to this one. It has to pass through the sales, the order table. This is the order table. It passed through the order table. So there has to be an order before you can have a product, before the customer can have the product. You must place an order before you can have the product. This is another way to understand fact table and dimension table. So now look at the relationship. You can see this is scattered information here. This is 1. You can see 1 here to many. This star means many. If it was to be 1-to-1, you see 1 here and 1 here. It will be 1-to-1. But it is telling you that it is 1 to many. And you can see the connection. It is connecting from this table to this table. You see the direction of this arrow. Connecting from this table to this table. And when you touch the arrow, it will tell you what Power BI is using to connect these 2 tables. Once you touch this arrow, it will tell you that I'm using customer ID to connect these 2 tables. Are we seeing that, please? I hope I'm in the right. You guys are seeing.
Yes.
Okay, good. So you can see that it has used customer ID to connect this customer information and sales. So I want someone else to tell me what else we can use to connect it. If we can delete this one. Let's delete it. Can we connect it? Can we not use customer ID? Can we use another thing to connect these two tables and it to work? Is there anybody here that can tell us? We don't want to use customer ID.
Use the name customer.
I don't know why Corredi, are you here? Can you unmute? Corredi.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank
Are you
you.
seeing the table that we are seeing here? All of us are seeing.
Yeah, I see
Okay,
it.
we have a problem here. We have a very big problem. We have the sales table and the customer information, and we need to connect them because we are trying to work on them, but they have to be connected before we can work on them. So we are trying to know if there's any key, that we can use to connect them. Can you take a look and see if you can help us, please, and explain to us what we need to do here to connect these two tables so that they can see each other and we can now continue our work.
Okay, so I think can we use ID?
Yes, when we brought it to Power BI, it automatically connected it for us quite all right, and it used ID to connect it.
Okay.
And it worked. But we said anyway, let's just flex our muscle since we have. Let's see if we can use any other thing in case we don't want to use ID. In fact, we just want to have other options in case ID fails
Okay.
us.
So I think we can use our customer instead.
Why do you think so, sir?
Because we are having customer in the customer information table, and the other side we're having customer as well. So I think that
Okay, that's fine.
these
You're
two.
very correct. You're very correct. So the reason why we are doing that, it's not just because the name is customer here and customer here. You have to know already before bringing your data. You already seen the table. So it is not, the name can be different. Let me share that table. No, it's not this one. It's this one. Can you see Excel? Can you see Excel table now?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So it is not just because the name is customer. This is another. The reason is because I come into this customer table. I come to this customer column, and I'm seeing that Uncle Joe is here, Alex is here, Apocalypse is here, Pre for anything is here. And I come to this place, customer name. I can see Uncle Joe, I can see Alex, I can see Apocalypse, I can see Pray for anything. So the details in the table is the same. Even if this name now changes to another thing, maybe shop name, I change it to shop name. If I change it now, it is the same thing. They can still connect, they can still see each other because the information inside the table is the same thing. Do you get the point?
Yes.
Exactly. So when you're loading your data, you already know the things inside. You have already gone through the table. You've seen what is inside. You're not relying only on Excel because if you load this information to Excel will not, Power BI. If you load this thing to Power BI, it is seeing these two tables as two different columns. They are not the same because what it is looking at is just the column head. The heading is no longer the same, even though the information inside is the same. So it will not, assuming that this one is not there, this customer ID is not there, and customer ID is not here, and the only thing you have common here is this one. So Power BI will not connect it for you because it's not seeing, they are not the same. This name here is not the same thing with this name here. But if you get there, you buy your own on your own self, now you can now connect it because you know that the information here is the same, and Power BI will eventually accept it because it will now see that, oh, they are the same thing. Do you get the point?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So that is why if we connect customer to customer, it is going to work because you can see that customer, where is the info? Okay, customer is same thing as customer. It is seeing it here. If I try to use customer ID to customer ID, it is going to work because it's seeing the same thing. So let's try to use zip code to customer ID. It's not going to work because they are not even connected in any way. If I try to connect it, it's not work. So we can also use customer to connect it. If we connect, It is going to load, and then it's going to connect. You can see that it is connected. If you come here, you see it is showing you that I used customer to customer to connect it. Do you understand this?
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. So that's it. We have connected these two tables and they are seeing each other very, very well. And the relationship type is what? Let's go back there. Property. Click on property. Here you can see that the relationship type is many to one. If you change it, you can actually select anyone you want to use. You can also use many to, okay, one to many, because now you see customer table apocalypse sales contain a duplicate value. So this is apocalypse sales. It contains duplicate, do you remember that in that table you have so many customer IDs repeating itself? So it is telling you that you cannot use where is that? You cannot use, okay, I'm using customer ID to what? Customer ID. Okay, yeah. So if you want to change this many, if you want to use one to many to one, automatically it detected, it chose the kind of cardinality it wants to use. Just call this cardinality the relationship type. It chose the kind of relationship type it wants to use because it has gone through the table and saw that many to one is what is going to work here, because this first table that is up here is one you're connecting to the table that is down here. And the table that's up here, the customer ID in this table is what? Foreign key. It has many. Do you all remember in Excel now? The customer ID, they'll have many.
Yes, yes.
So in this customer information, the customer ID here is what? Is primary key. It is unique. It has just one ID for each customer. It is unique. So it is one, it is many to one here, because here you have many IDs as foreign keys. They are repeating itself, repeating many. You had many Uncle Joes there, many 1, 2, 3 there. That's why. So if you want to change it to one to many, it means you have to take this table now and put it up here and bring this one down here, because here you have one. It is unique. This is where you have the unique table, primary key, and here you have the foreign key. So for me to change it to one to many, I have to change this table now. I'll click here, put okay, Apocalypse Store. These are the tables I have here. These 3, 1, 2. It is no longer seen. Okay, I don't know. Apocalypse Sale, customer information, Apocalypse Store. No, we are not connecting up this store. Let me change this one first. Customer information, Apocalypse Store. If I bring Apocalypse Store here, let me see if it's, we'll now bring customer here. We can now change we'll now choose the connection type we want. So we want to use ID. We want to use what? Okay. This is now the table it's seeing. Apocalypse Store. No. Apocalypse Sales. Okay. Yeah, good. Customer and Apocalypse Sales. That is this table and the other one. So we can now use one to many. Can you see it has automatically chosen the table type? So guys, this thing, if you don't understand it, it is going to be somehow difficult. Even though everything is going to be working well, but you don't know how it is working. So it's good you understand this thing so that whatever is happening, you will know. Did you notice what happened here? That this thing has changed. It was many to one before, but it is now one to many, because here in this customer information, in the customer table, I don't know if I should go back to Excel and explain it, but can you guys remember how it was in Excel? When we were in Excel.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think if it's going to use one to many, the principal table, I mean the primary table, the table that we're going to get the primary key from must be the first one that's going to use, while the other one will be the foreign key. So the table that has the foreign Okay,
Thank
so
you.
the other way, then that's how it's going to make it to be
Thank
many
you.
to
So,
one.
so now you can now see here that foreign one to many and many to one is the same thing. It's just the reverse. They are the reverse of each other, opposite of each other. If you're using many to one, it means the main table that has the primary key has to be at the bottom.
Yes.
Then the table that has the unique key has to be on top, which is the many. Because you have many. Can you hear me? You have the many keys there. So if you want to use many to one, many, what is whenever you hear many, it is associated to what? Foreign keys, because you already know that foreign key has many other numbers, other ID can appear many times to one. So it is foreign key to primary key, many to one. Primary key to foreign key is what? One to many.
One to many.
All right. So let's just leave it at what the way it was. We put apocalypse. Let's change it. Here is supposed to be apocalypse sales. Here should be customer information. So connect it by ID. So it is changing to many to one now. Very good. So that's fine. I think that's all. So in the same table, the same thing here. That's everything you understand here applies to this place. Right? So can any person tell us fact table and dimension? Which one is our fact table here? Which one is dimension table here? Does anybody know?
The fact table is the store.
Wait, Mr. Lanikun, wait. Dampo, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for coming. So tell us about fact table and why. Then dimension table and why.
Okay, sir. Good evening. Thanks for the lecture. The apocalypse says, to my understanding, is the fact table.
Why?
It contains the unique values. No, it contains the foreign values. Because why the dimensional ones, apocalypse stores and customer information are dimensional tables, because they have the unique keys.
Okay. All right, thank you. So if you look at this thing that you're seeing here, a lot of things, they are pointing the information you need for you. Now, one to many, in your head, you already know that dimension table has one information or one variable that is not changing, while the fact table has scattered information. Now look at this one here. Can you see this scatter? This thing that look like star. This thing that look like star is scattered now. Scattered. So table here, every information here is scattered. So this is one to scattered, one to many. That's the meaning. So these are fact table. These are dimension table. Dimensions table are always connected to one fact table, even though the fact table can be more than one, like we'll see in the next table we'll bring in, where like you have the table one, order one, and order two. They can be one, but usually all the dimension tables are always connected to the fact table here, as you can see. So I think that's all about here. That's pretty much everything you need to know here. Yeah. So if you come here now, you can see that the three tables are working. If you want to check the number of customers, price, okay, let's see, product, customer ID. If you want to know sales, these are sales ID, order, maybe products, units sold. Let's check the units sold by states. So you bring states here. You bring units sold here. So it will just populate states and units sold is calculating. I think it's okay, good. It has loaded because we are calculating, whenever you're calculating country, state, and all of that thing, city, it will always give you the map of that city. So you can decide to change it to a table This is just range. You change it to range. You can change it to table as well, to become table. And then you can also use graph, to represent the data. All right. You can also use your pie charts to represent the data. So let's look at it. This thing is able to work. It is telling you, you can see that you have all the different information you need in different tables. This is table, Apocalypse Sale has this unit sold, while the information, customer information, has the states of the customers. But you're able to get this information because of that connection. It is telling you the accurate information that this state sold highest, bought highest. He bought more than this state bought, these two states bought equal. So we are connecting sales to what? Customer information. If you come back to the table now, this is customer information, this is sales. If you disconnect it, delete, let's see what will happen. They don't have connection anymore. They can't see each other. If you come back to your table now, you see that the table has been messed up. Can you see what happened? All of them are the same, which we know is impossible, that all of them cannot be the same. So this now shows us that there's a problem. This table is not seeing this table because they've lost connection. So it is giving us wrong error. This is error. How do you correct this error? Now, as a data analyst, once you see such a thing, you know, oh, yeah, I think the problem is from the connection, the relationship. These two tables are not seeing each other. So what do? You go to the model and see, oh, I said it, the tables are not seeing each other. So you now look at how do I connect them? You always connect the dimension table to the fact table. Did you see that we did not drag this one and put here? I don't know if it's work. It should work anyway, but the right thing is that you drag this one and take it to that particular. You can't just put it anywhere you like. You can't put it here. You have to take it to that customer ID that you want to connect it to and leave it. Then it will now bring up this thing. Just say yes. Now, cross, look at this one. I don't know if I should talk about this one. Anyway, always leave it in single. Now, both is, let's see how the both of them work. I'll show you now. So when you connect it, you see there's now a connection between them. If you go back to our table, it has fixed that error automatically because we have now, linked them back together. I don't know if we understand this thing. I'm feeling like we understand it. I'm believing that we all understand it with everything that we've said so far. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's all about this one. Okay, let's also see this one. See this single, this cross-filter direction. Cross-filter direction simply talks about, you can see that this table is connected to this table. It is one way. You can see it is one way. It is that's a sample we'll have used to indicate this thing. This table is only sending one to many. It is only sending information, one customer to many. You cannot send information from here to here. You can only send from this table to this table. So, but when you change it to both, it means you want it to go both ways. You can either send from here to here or you want to send from here to here. There are also situations when you want to have it like that. So if you choose both ways, it will, and you press, if you save, let me save it. You can now see that that direction sign will change. You see, it has changed to both ways. It means it's now moving information from here to here and from here to here. If we come back to our information, it is still the same thing. Nothing has changed. But there are situations where the kind of tables you have, this thing will really matter a lot, but it usually doesn't matter. So just leave it at single. All right. So that is all about that. I think we are done. Let's just load the final table and look at it. 1017. We are done. We are done. We are done. Let me show you this last one. The one that the tutor used. This table 1 and table 2. Can we see the table order 1 and order 2?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So order 1 and order 2. So this table simply have information of the customer, everything. You can see that everything is in this table, which is actually not what we know, which is actually not okay. We're supposed to separate order, this order, what again? This order dates, quantity ordered are supposed to be in a different table. Then the customer name, this is the customer ID, customer name, customer gender, customer city, country is supposed to be in a different table. Then product ID, selling price of the product, cost of the product, total sales of the product, profit made, all these things are supposed to be in another different product table. So in this one big table, we have order table, customer table, and what? The product table in this one table. So, but here we have from 101 down to 300 and what? 350. Then look at table 2. Table 2 started from 351 down to what? 500. 600, sorry, 600. So, but if you look at the headings, they are all the same thing: order ID, customer name, and blah blah blah. Here you have the same thing: order ID, customer name, customer ID, customer name, and all these things. So these two tables are the same thing. So before you move it to Power BI, you can decide to even merge it here. You can merge it here, append it here. You can just come here to append it, you copy from, you already have the heading, so you don't need to copy the heading again. So you just copy from this place, copy everything here. You can see I did not copy the heading. You just copy everything, copy, come here. Then come to the last part, that 350. It ended here, then start from 351, just paste it, it will paste. Did you see what we did? I did not save it, that's why it's giving me this thing, but don't just ignore it. So we have appended it in Excel from 50, a continuation from 351 down in Excel. All right. So, but we don't want to do that. We just want to carry it as two different tables to. Did we see what we did here? This is the append you're doing in Power BI. I hope we saw that. Did we see that? Okay. Okay, guys, I think we have to, call it a night. It's already 10:30, 10:20. So let's close by 10:30. So we'll just take questions now. We'll close here, then take questions and see if anybody is, confused or have any contribution. We're closing by 10:30. This is 10:20. All right, any questions? I hope you can hear me. Do we have questions? Any questions? Okay, yeah, sure. Just ask your question. Unmute yourself. Faith, go ahead. Yeah, Faith, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, Faith, how are you?
All right. Thank you very much for the call. Thank you for
Welcome.
very much for. Fine. Thank you. Thanks for the lecture. Well understood. Then one thing I want to find out, be cleared of, is this table of a thing. So does it mean that like the way this table is in Excel, we can't use it to work? That the table must be separated with this table right now, because the way you appended the whole thing, we can't use it like this to work. It must be separated based on that is something like classifying the information based on the customer name, product, or whatever. That is the transaction or so. I don't know if you got my question correctly.
Yes, I got your question.
So can we use it to work the way it is right now, or we must separate them based on that is categorize them based on the transactions?
Yeah, if you're in Excel, you can actually use it the way it is. Obviously, most of the tables you be seeing in Excel are like that. It will have everything in it. But when you want to talk about data storage, when you go to SQL and when you come to Power BI or Tableau, before you load any data to Power BI, they have to be in tables. They have to be in tables. That's how you work with it in Power BI. For example, if you want to store this data in SQL, you definitely have to, because you only talk about foreign keys and primary keys when you have them in different tables. If they're all in the same table, there's no point. You don't need any foreign key because they're all already in one table. Everything you need is in one table. So there is no need for primary key. There's no need for secondary key. There's no need for any relationship. You're not talking about relationship in Power BI. Everything is one table. So it will work actually, but the standard is that they should have to be in tables so that there has to be a relationship as well. Because you know why? Because we are just looking at this thing because there are just few tables. Please, which part of my screen are you seeing? Is it the Power BI? Are you seeing the Power BI?
No, right now I'm seeing Excel.
Okay,
I'm seeing
fine.
Excel right now.
Okay, fine. That's good. So this thing you're seeing here is just a couple of data. It's just 600 rows. Do you know that if you're working for, let's say you're working for Facebook, where you have millions of people logging in every second, this data here, Excel cannot even carry it. And do you know that data, Power BI can only contain 1,000 rows per table, like per table, yeah, 1,000 rows. So, and if you have a lot of information in one table, there are some informations you have, and they are too big, they are so big, it will occupy so much space that even before you load it, it will take a couple of hours before it will finish loading. So it becomes impossible if you're working for a very big company like Amazon, that Amazon gets more than hundreds of thousands of orders every single day. So you cannot put all the information in one table. It's not possible. So that is why you need to separate it. When you begin to separate it, it will now help you to reduce your work. It will now also help you to, have a more clean job, and it will also help you to save space, and it will help your data to load faster and all of that. So if you have just few information, it can be in one table, no problem, even though it's not the standard. But when it becomes too big, there's a kind of data you load into your Excel. Excel will not open again. It will just crash. Your Excel will crash, bro. But if you have them separated, it will never happen like that. So those are some of the reasons. Do you understand?
Thank you very much. Well understood. Yes, thank you.
Right.
I hope we'll get a replay, please.
Yeah, sure. I'll drop it. All right, you can raise down your hand. So
Thank
do
you.
we
I really
have any
appreciate
more questions before we close? We just have 4 minutes left. Any questions? Okay, contributions. You can contribute whatever you learned or whatever you think, or wherever you think we needed to touch that we didn't touch. I think it's late. Maybe so many persons are sleeping already. They slept off in the class. It's fine. It's okay. So Ezekiel, you're just joining now. Mr. Ezekiel, how are you, sir? Ezekiel? Hi, Ezekiel.
I'm fine.
Okay, you're just joining us.
Yes, not in chance.
Okay, that's fine. You just watch the replay. That's fine. So, anybody has anything else? Mr. Koredi, Mr. Olalekun, are you there?
We just want to thank you very much for taking out this time. It's actually amazing.
Yeah, Mr. Promise.
I just want to thank you.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. All right. In the absence of other questions, just call it a night. All right. I'll drop the replay tonight. All right. Bye, everybody. Good night. Boss, okay.
The SQL maybe by next week, hopefully. They should be getting to SQL by next week. So we'll treat SQL very, very well, and everybody will understand SQL well. So you can also, after saving this SQL is like a database because Excel is limited. Sure.